I'm taking you off, Patrice.
Hi, baby.
Don't take my boo. Why you taking her off?
I'm taking her off. So, first and foremost, last week we was missing one of our panelists, and she is back and in live and in color today. I want y'all to give a round welcome to the Miss Patrice. Hey, girl! Oh my God! We miss you.
I'm so done. I cannot right now. Yo.
Oh my God,
We
you
miss
guys.
you.
I mean, like. Hi, everybody. How's everyone doing? It's nice to be back. All that jazz.
Things.
All of the things.
So before I get into all my lemes, did anybody inbox any one of y'all and said done for the contest?
No, the girl shaded
No.
me. No.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll tell you what. I'm gonna try this again.
Okay.
We're giving out a special prize. Now, last week, like Tuesday, I think we had like 500 views. Collectively,
Oh, wow.
and nobody decided to do the contest. Y'all can win something. So we're gonna try this again. They don't care.
They're not interested.
They don't want.
So we're gonna try this again. We are doing a contest. We're doing a contest, and the contest consists of you liking, sharing, commenting, and inboxing done to win a Pride special prize for Pride Month.
Okay. 4 easy steps.
That is liking, sharing, commenting, and inboxing done. Once all of that is done, and letting me know. Okay, I think I see somebody that may have done it on Twitter. If you did it on Twitter, hit up One True G and let him know so that he can let me know.
Girl. Wait, I have a question.
Twitter, I know.
Who's One True G?
Listen.
I think I got True G. So One True G is a sponsor of ours that is allowing. Huh? You got one?
Got one.
Okay.
We got one in the comments.
Oh,
I see it. I see it. Save it for next week. I see it.
Definitely.
So we will announce the winner next week on Tuesday. I'm gonna go ahead and get into our advertising for today before we get started on our topic. And I want to let you know that we are still doing the focus groups. The focus groups consist of people that have been on prep in the past before or have never been on prep. We want to know exactly what's the hesitation, what's going on. The conversation is not to get you on prep. It's more so to kind of get a sense of what's going on with prep inside of our community. Historically, white people have sat behind their desks and created interventions for us to engage us on prep. We didn't have no input with that. Now we have a chance to have input on how prep can work for us in our community. And we need you. You are the expert. So please come and be a part of that conversation. Please come and be a part of that conversation. I can't stress that enough. You can hit up Patrice, our prep case manager, Bryce, our EIS worker and retention specialist, or Shawn, our peer outreach specialist, or myself. I don't, things like that. So just let us know. Adjacent to that, we are also doing in-depth interviews. Mm-hmm. And what that look like is if you are on prep already, or you have taken prep in the past and decided to stop, we want to have a conversation with you one-on-one. And we want to know what worked for you, what is working for you, what is not working for you, what you like, what you don't like, what your family like, how your peers support you, how they don't support you. I want to know everything. So From that information that you give us, we can then create an intervention that is geared and tiered towards the Black community. And I know right now it's a gender bias. We are looking for Black, same gender loving men. But once we get the participation for that, we can open it up and make that and make that category or make that range a little bit. I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but stretch it out amongst all communities. So please hit us up with that. Let us know what's going on. Talk to us. I also want to shout out to CREW. CREW stands for Community Resources and Empowerment and Wellness. That is an organization. They are experts as it relates to harm reduction model, substance usage, as well as mental health. I love them because they are focusing not just on your substance use and or trying to get you to stop, but you want to make your own goals. And what they look like is if you are doing your drug of choice 7 times a week, we're going to applaud you for doing your drug of choice 4 times a week. That's not the goal. It's not to get you to stop. It's more so to get you reduced or get you functional. You can also use that resources for mental health as well. So please hit up Shawn and get more information about that, or you can hit up the number on there as well. Shawn is the representative for CREW, so please hit him up and let him know.
Let me know.
Let me know.
All of that.
So Project Uplift is also connected with us as well. Project Uplift is geared towards the LGBT community, and they have an intensive case management program to help LGBT community. Case management as it relates to housing, as it relates to other resources. So in the event you're not positive, in the event you're not looking to get on PrEP, if you still need a case management, you can go to check out Uplift and kind of and they can kind of assist you along the way as well. Okay. Today's topic is no means no.
Keep your hands to yourself.
What
I don't know
you
what the
mean?
hell that means. I don't know what
You
that
gonna
means.
give me that stuff?
Not tonight, Curtis. Don't touch me. I don't know. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
We married. You gonna give me that?
Hold on, Curtis. Hold on, Curtis. Yeah.
Well, I mean that used to be a law here, so
That's how that
So
goes.
let's get into it. Let's dive into it.
Let's get into it. Let's really talk about it.
Because my thing is, no, it's so confusing nowadays.
I agree.
No, fuck it's not.
No, it's not.
It's so confusing nowadays. It is definitely confusing nowadays.
And Johnny,
what is confusing about N and O?
But whatever.
Because
can I give an example of what I think you mean, Johnny?
You surely can. Please help me, brother.
So, say for instance, we're in the middle of sex. And I just so happen to be like, something that you're doing. I'm like, no, like I don't want to do that. Like
that's a different kind of no, and that. Move on.
No, but listen,
move on.
We're both
no, we're not doing that, Patrice. No.
The way that I'm saying it during sex, though, is not. I'm not saying it like I really want you to stop. I'm saying like, no, I don't want to do that, but kind of it feels like a no, like no, it feels good type no. Like,
but we're talking in particular about a consent no. Mm-hmm. Which means if you're in the middle of sex, you've already given consent. You're past that point already.
But hold on, no man.
But you can also consent can always be revoked at any moment.
It can be revoked, but he's not saying that he wants to stop having sex. He's saying he doesn't want to do that particular sex act.
God,
okay, it's a big difference.
I wasn't talking about Shawn. I mean, I understand what Shawn said.
I was just talking about his example, sir.
Mocha said no shade. Yeah. When I say no stop, that means keep going.
That's right. Oh my God. BJ, shut up.
And that be the confusion.
Shut up, BJ.
Hey, Nikkei, girl.
So for instance,
what's up?
You moaning and groaning. Stop. No, stop. Stop. Matter of fact, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna give you a good example. I had a friend guy of mine. He was a straight guy. And he was, I think this guy for me was a very much of a gentleman. Things like that. He was cool. I liked him. I can rock with him. I can go out to eat with this man. He was just cool, and I really liked him, and I feel like I knew him. It was this new girl that came to work at my old job and whatever, and they, I guess, start kicking it and whatever, start going on dates and stuff like that. And she was giving signals that she was ready to kind of put out. So,
what is a signal that you're ready to put out?
Because that could be sexual harassment or sexual intimidation.
She's giving signals to him that she's ready to pull out, and that's sexual harassment.
No, what's harassment is assuming that she's giving him signals just because of what she's doing. He is taking it as sexual advancement.
Okay.
That's like saying because I wear a mini skirt, I want to get fucked because I'm dressed like a slut.
Okay. Let me finish my story.
Finish it.
So, she is now at his house. They are kissing. They are undressing each other. They have had sex. A week later goes by. She's back at his house, and he's ready to have sex again with her. She is initiating the kissing. She's initiating the kissing, and I'm taking off my clothes and I'm getting on top of things like that. And in the midst of that, you say she stop. No, but it's not that stop. No, and this is our perspective. So I don't want to speak on factual, of course.
Right.
And for him, it's not that stop. No, stop. That hard stop. No. You know how. Ooh, stop. Ooh, no, and things like that. Whatever.
Y'all weird. If I like something, I'm not gonna take it.
So for him, and this is perspective for him. That's a sexy. I'm gonna keep going with that type of thing. They completed the act. She completed the act and things like that. The next day, she then stated that, or she came to the job and things like that, and stated that she had been, raped. And so because it came back to the work environment, he loses his job, and things like that. And I know the police were called, but I wasn't sure. I'm not sure how it all ended.
Like most rape cases do, it got tossed out.
And so one more thing. So another big part of the story was so they were texting back and forth after she had made the accusations and and he was like, why are you saying this about me? What's going on? What's taking place? And she was like, and she was like, you know what you did? And he was like, well, no, I didn't do anything. And like, why are you saying this? Like, what's happening? And so I think the most criminalization thing that he did was he apologized and things like that. But in the content of the text messaging, he was apologizing for any confusion of what was going on. But I don't think that he was apologizing for the actual act because he felt like he didn't do anything wrong and there was consensual sex.
But if he didn't feel like he did anything wrong, he would have never apologized.
I don't think that that's true. That's fine.
That's fine. You can think we can be different of opinion because I've been in that situation and I've had to go get somebody out of that situation and bust a nigga in his head for that same shit because he thought it was okay because she was there making out with him. That's bullshit.
Yeah. So you've been raped, and the next day, me and you are texting back and forth, and you communicating with me.
At this point, you've already subjugated that person to a traumatic event, and they're already afraid of you. So yes, they're gonna text back and forth with you because they don't want any repercussions.
Yeah. I don't think
and that's fine. You don't have to believe it. You're not a woman. You ain't never been in a situation where you're about to be raped or have been raped.
Yeah.
So you don't know what that is like.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is like as a woman. However, I don't know what that is like as a woman. However, I've been through that as a man.
Okay.
As well. So
yeah, Yes, men get raped, but it is a nothing.
It's a what? No, go ahead.
Nothing. Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead. What you saying?
Don't cut yourself off. Don't cut yourself off. No, go ahead.
I'm not cutting myself off. I'm keeping my temper in check. Go ahead.
But I do think that, and the reason why I say sometimes no can be confusing because there are senses where like you know, and even you kind of agree earlier that no is different than, you know, us doing sex. But I have heard, and even me, no stop. I'm really not telling you to stop. I'm really, you know, it's just me saying that, you know, it's like people say it in a sexy way. And people do it, especially when drugs are involved and alcohol is involved and things like that. All of that kind of plays a factor in that no. And is that no hard? I'm confused in regards to where this no is going.
I think
and I'm continuing
until if somebody tells you no, stop, you should automatically stop.
Right. Regardless of what's happening and regardless of if you're serious or not. No is no.
Continuing to do something to somebody and they saying no.
So I'm gonna take the story a little different because I see where everybody's going. Because I see where everybody's going with this. It's not different, but it's in the same storyline of it, and it's kind of just saying, you know, molestation and rape. Someone being molested, such as myself, I was young at that time. I was saying no, or I didn't know what freak was going on, and I was getting sexually assaulted by a grown man who just so happens to be a family member of mine. So, growing up now, knowing that, and when I'm hearing no from somebody else doing a sexual act and they tell me no, if I know you pushing me off you giving me signs like you really don't want me touching you, kissing on you, or flirting with you, no means no. I'm not going to touch you. I'm not engaging in those acts because I am traumatized from that. So I already know if I like, me and Patrice had this conversation all the time, and I tell her, if it's a boy that kind of, you know, wants to play back there, I'm very selective about who I let back there because it's just like my mindset is not all the way right when it comes to that. I got to have somebody I'm comfortable with. Like, I really want you back there. I don't want you back there because you want to be back there and you want to force it. You get what I'm saying? So like molestation and rape to me is a very serious conversation. So that's why I said, like, even with Patrice, I get what you're saying when it comes to women because I've seen it too in my own eyes. Watching a woman of my family member go through the same thing I've been, and I couldn't stop. It was nothing that I could do but call the police. That was it. I was young. Mm-hmm. I wasn't in the right state of mind to know, like, okay, do I go get a knife? What do I do? Like, I'm just running around panicking, calling the police, trying to figure it out. But seeing that, knowing the difference now of saying when somebody says, oh no, like, no, I want you to keep going, and knowing a no from no, don't touch me, bitch. It's you can tell. I think it's common sense to people now. You should be able to tell now the difference between the no's. Like, if I want you to keep going rather than if I actually really want you, you know, to really stop touching me. Like, don't touch me like that. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm. I have been a victim of stealthing 3 times, which is the act of removing the condom without consent. And each time it's weird because people feel like they're entitled to your body. I agreed to have sex with
Bryce, say that word one more time for me, baby.
Stealthing is when you remove the condom. It's when the person removes the condom without consent, or when the condom is compromised without the other person knowing. So I've been.
That's a new word.
Yeah,
that's a new word. Y'all got like phrases for everything now. It's very interesting.
Yes. So I've been a victim of that 3 times, and each reaction has been weird. Is because beforehand we discussed that we agreed on having condom sex. So you just gonna take the condom out. You think I'm not gonna notice that? That's the crazy part about it. And then when I call you out for it, do you get mad at me for calling you out for doing that? And it's just weird to me. It made me not. I didn't have sex for like 4 months at that because it's like it happened on 3 separate occasions, and it's just like it made me uncomfortable. It's like, why would somebody feel like they're entitled to do that? Just to
that's crazy.
Have their way with your body, so, like you didn't agree to that.
Yeah,
it's just. So when people be like, so when you guys like saying when you're engaging in sex, you guys are playing like saying, "Oh no, stop!" You like you really don't mean it. It's weird to me because if I don't like something, I'll be like, "Stop!" You know, like
this is stern.
Now,
be like, and if I like it, I'm gonna tell you to keep doing it. I'm not gonna be like,
oh, right,
stop. You pay.
I'm with the yes, don't stop. Yeah.
What if you get a? What if you you like married or you in a relationship and your spouse tell you no?
Then you must stop.
Okay.
That's our next topic, consent in a relationship.
Okay.
You are not entitled to nobody's body, even when you're married.
At all. Ever.
Everybody's entitled to their own person's everybody's entitled to their own integrity. So if your partner is not in the mood, or your partner tells you not to do something, you probably did it with them before and they didn't say nothing. Now you're doing it again. And they're like, now this time they're saying no. That means stop. You know, you just can't have your way with anybody.
Just thought y'all in a relationship together.
Yes.
Life ain't fair. It's okay.
I look at that.
We talked about that, about self-pleasure in a relationship, you know, feeling like if your partner whip it out, you're entitled to touch it. What if your partner whip it out and they don't want you to touch it? That's it.
That's it.
That's it. It's a flaw. You can't. You can't touch
it. It's a flaw.
It's a flaw. Can I read a comment, y'all?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We had someone that said, I text the person the next day and they laughed and said, you invited me over, but if no and stop is said, you should stop and make sure consent is still there.
Mm-hmm. The guy told me, don't be telling people that out here I raped you. I was like, you didn't rape me, but you took the condom off, nigga.
Like just I had one person do that and I kicked him down the stairs.
Yeah.
And it made me paranoid.
Mm-hmm.
And it made I mean, I know I found out that a lot of guys are not used to females carrying condoms and making them use them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that I didn't realize that, like, guys were looking at me like I was crazy. Like, you serious? Yes, bitch, I'm serious. Motherfucking condom on. What are you doing?
Oh my God.
Yes, okay. You can still be raped by your spouse, Ike and Tina, period.
Yep.
Well, in North Carolina, Nikki, that used to be legal. That just came off the books last summer.
So, it used to be legal, so you could?
There are some states to where your spouse can still have their way with you, but you have to prove, in order for them to be convicted or charged, you have to prove that they made you do it against your will. So you have to prove that your husband threatened you, that if you didn't have sex with him, he'll do X, Y, and Z to you. Versus him just sliding it in, and you tell him to stop, and he don't do it.
Yeah, North Carolina was one that if you were married, there was consent was revoked. North Carolina was also a state that said once rape has begun, it does not have to stop. Or once sex has begun, consent cannot be revoked.
They try to get that passed like last summer, saying if sex has begun, you can't revoke consent. But that failed epically, which I'm glad it did. Because
what is consenting? Is it just the act of saying,
the consent
hey,
can mean
consent is stating that you want to have sex.
Want to do to each other. The consent
or not even sex, but yeah.
Yeah, the consent cannot even be said. We can start engaging in sex, but if you start doing something I don't like, then that means you must stop.
But don't that make it iffy though? Because just like you were saying the story earlier, if I'm kissing you, that don't mean I want to fuck you just because I'm kissing you.
That's true.
Right.
I just wanted to kiss. So I just say that. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to kiss. Like I came here to kiss. That's it.
I gotta explain that.
But unfortunately, some people feel like because you're making out and it's hot and heavy in the moment, that's automatically where that's gonna lead. And a lot of the times it's not. Some people just like making out. I'm not into it, but a lot of people like that shit.
Johnny, I'm sorry I asked the question too quick. I'm really into this conversation though, so I was starting.
Oh no.
But what is a form of consent? Because I know, you would think of a consent. Somebody got to sign something or something on a piece of paper like, hey, you want to have sex? I want to have sex with you too. Sign on the dotted line.
I personally think that is very smart. I think sex contracts should be used so that there is no confusion. Because
somebody tried to make me sign a sex contract stating that I'll be the only person that they're sleeping with, and I couldn't.
Oh no! Nothing like that. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. Nothing like that.
Say that we're both in.
We agreed to sex.
Yeah.
Right. And we're both consenting adults, not under the influence of anything that's going to make me do anything I don't want to do.
No,
sign your fucking name.
Something to me after that contract that I didn't like.
What if it was like a QR scan that you can, like, when you go to somebody's house, you link up with both of y'all got to touch each other's phone or something?
Oh my gosh.
I'm not doing
that. That's fantastic.
That would be dope.
Oh my god.
That would be dope.
Okay,
no, listen, tap your phone.
Because we can agree that our safe word is pineapples, and I'm in there screaming, pineapple! And you're still in there beating me. No. And then I try to take you to court, and then my case is dismissed because I signed a contract. But I said the safe word. I said pineapples.
Right.
No.
Oh, that means they didn't follow the contract, and they're in breach of the contract.
Right.
Give me my money.
But wouldn't it be a hard thing to prove if I signed a contract to come in and mutually have sex with you, and then
I say the safe word and you don't stop?
or I should say stop or no.
Mhm.
I don't want to do. I don't want to go forth anymore. And and something still transpired, and things like that. And I leave and want to pursue the law. I've gotten raped at that particular point. But I signed a contract before I went to that place and consented. How would you kind of fight that? You
can't because you fucking consented. Unless there's something in the contract, like Bryce said, where you have a safe word where you want to stop, which there always should be a caveat for that. Then if you don't have that caveat, then you fucked yourself.
I've never had a safe word.
So the safe word thing, it'll be my word against your word. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that would be part of the. Well, I mean, so my whole thing with the contract is that as it stands right now, if you report somebody for rape in the U.S., you have a 10% chance of that person actually getting arrested and going to jail.
Yeah. Right.
You have 10% chance of that somebody is actually going to go to trial and go to jail. For me, it's about lessening the amount of cases and making it easier to convict people who have actually done these things. Because you have people like all these little rich white kids who are raping people in full view of the half of the goddamn campus. But because he's a good kid and he comes from a nice family, we don't want to put this shit on him. Bitch, you got it on videotape.
Hello?
And he is raping somebody that is passed the fuck out. This country does not value women at all. And they make it act like it's okay to do anything to these little girls and to these women. And that's not okay.
That's you know what, Patrice, you hit a bullet for me, because being under consent, saying what is giving consent when you're like under a drug or you're on a substance? I may be drunk.
Or you underage.
Ooh.
Well, let's talk about that, because the age of consent in North Carolina is 16. But if your parents find out that you're having sex with an adult that they don't like, they can still charge that person for statutory rape. Even
if they're over 18. That's very true. That's very true.
They have to be 18 and up, though, right?
Right.
Yes.
They have to be over 18 and considered an adult. And that now the statutory rape stuff is really a slippery slope. I went to high school with people that were charged with that and as juniors in high school, and it ruined their life, because after you have that charge, you're already 18. You can't get that record expunged. You can't get that locked up so nobody can see it. That is really sad. And there are a lot of people that take that L. And it's really sad that that's a thing. And it's sad that that has to be a thing.
Yeah. But my thing is, if you're 18, why could you find another 18-year-old? And if a 16 does put themselves out to you, you should be a double like, no, you a little ass kid. Go play.
Because
that's like all these grown-ass men that date high school seniors.
Yeah, that's nasty.
But when we were young, we were dating older.
I was.
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be technical about the situation. You know what I mean?
I wasn't. I'm sorry.
I was wrong. Anyway.
Not even close.
If I'm married and I touch my husband's dick, he says no. Is that rape? No, that's not rape. You just don't touch his dick no more.
You didn't have intercourse.
Oh, wow.
That's not rape. Just don't touch it no more.
Just don't touch it no more, yeah. And you put him
just
on
the tip. Just the tip.
Just tell me to go to the store to get some milk. Yeah.
What you say, Shawn? There's a show where they do that. You have to approve the sex. Yeah.
But what about the people that's like that's healthy sexuals that's out here being frivolous and just having sex with numerous of people? That's a lot of contract.
But that doesn't. I mean.
We is not going to define a healthy sexual like that.
Right.
No, ma'am.
You trying to make a healthy sexual
if they're doing it that healthy way, and if they're doing it that healthy way.
Are we now slut shaming?
Let's keep it. That's not slut shaming.
But how many contracts you have? How many contracts you have?
As long as they're filed away in a discreet area, it shouldn't matter how many contracts you have. That's like asking someone how many bodies you got. None of your motherfucking business.
19 if you ask him. But anyway, how many contracts you got?
You might want to dial that up about 50.
Turn up the volume.
All the way up.
Oh, wow, y'all. No, but that's crazy to me because I always felt like, I mean, I guess for me, like, that's just weird. Like, when I was younger, I dated older guys. So
me too.
I never understood why that's a thing. What is it about older guys when you're a child that is, Johnny?
I had daddy issues. I had daddy issues. I had daddy issues.
But see, I love my father. I was just, I don't know.
Mine was more so about the maturity of the person. I feel like older people had, because I was when I was younger, even with my family, I always hung around the adults. Me and the kids, we did do kid things. They did separate us. Don't get me wrong, we did do kiddie things. But I had old souls around me that was always like teaching and schooling me on stuff. So it was like when it came to dating or talking to someone, I looked at the mindset of the person. It was like, oh, he older, he got everything together, he good. Like,
yeah,
but then realizing that some of the older ones are just as immature
as the young ones.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
You know, if they older and they dating young people, then they're only there for two reasons.
I was a child.
When I was a child.
And they took advantage of that.
That's funny. I do agree with Shawn. However, I wasn't separated. You know, I sat with the adults. I played spades with the adults. I drunk with the adults.
I didn't do that.
I wasn't separated, and so I think that a lot of people got away with me as far as them. Even to this day, I've always dated older. I've never dated nobody my age. I've always dated older than me. But I think that I've gotten accustomed to somebody telling me, "Oh, you're so mature for your age," right? And that was the end. Oh, I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? That was the end. Not knowing, and like Patrice said it earlier, that was a way to kind of get in the situation to make me feel like I'm mature enough to handle this situation. I'm mature enough to handle what's about to happen, things like that. It was, and I didn't understand that then. It hasn't changed my mindset because I'm always going to date older, because also what I also thought, and how I also kind of figured, is that a lot of the people my age didn't have anything to talk about. And I think that's why I wanted to date older. I didn't really have anything, to kind of, we didn't like the same things. We didn't talk about the same things. I still think sometimes even people at older, I listen to conversations and be like, oh my God, y'all so corny and childish.
Yeah.
It's so I still have that little corny mindset sometimes when it comes down to people, when there's other people older than me, and stuff like that. So I do agree with Patrice. I do think that stuff like that was people had issues that they didn't realize that they had as an adult dating younger, especially under 16.
So exactly what the fuck their issue was.
Classified as older and younger when it comes to that, though. Let's be clear, because a lot of people will say, "Hey, I only date 2 years above me."
Listen,
hello, 2 years up, 2 years down.
Yeah. When I was 15, he was 19. When I was 20, he was 32. So I don't know.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
y'all want to read Nikkei's comment?
Yeah, can somebody read it for me?
Nikkei said I was fast, but then men who I dated when I was younger, I look back and I'm like, damn, he was a pedo. That's true. I felt that way too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, since we talked about putting contracts on our sex, how do you feel about people getting paid for the sexual assault versus the rapist actually going to jail? Because I see a lot of times when women get attacked, when they take a settlement, instead of being like, "Oh, y'all don't care about being raped, y'all just looking for
I love that, Bryce.
But my thing is, like Patrice said earlier, if only 10% of people who've been accused of rape are going to be convicted, why not get paid for my pain and suffering? So my real question is, do you think you could pay a price on your sexual assault? And would you rather have your rapist go to jail, or would you take a settlement?
I feel like when women take settlements, it cheapens the value of a rape charge.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I understand, with the Weinstein case and everything, I have never been so disappointed in women, besides the women for Trump, as I was with the Harvey Weinstein cases. They had enough people to put that man in jail forever and to really take a stand against rapists in this country for everyone. And they chose to take the fucking money because they didn't want anybody to look at them as if, oh, you've been raped now and you did this, and that. Fuck that, bitch. There is no amount of money. And I'm going to tell you some real shit. I say that. I say there is no amount of money. But I feel like because I'm a vindictive person, if I had been given that settlement, I would also hire someone to go kill that nigga.
Yeah.
Let's keep it all the way 100.
No shade.
You're not going to be walking the street.
No shade.
That's not what this is. You're not going to walk the street. You can give me money if you know, but no, I'm not.
For sexual assault, and he had to pay his victim $7 million, and then he didn't pay his victim $7 million. So now she owns 75% of all his assets because he didn't pay her. And people are going in on her instead of going in on him about committing sexual assault.
Right. Because we live in a culture that blames the victim.
Mm-hmm. Eric said my brother is spending 30 years in prison for not stopping when she said no.
Lord.
Ooh.
Wow.
He's one of the very few, and I mean that's an intense sentence. I don't know if
go to jail because if you did it to me, you will do it again. That's how I feel.
Yeah, you did it and got away with it. You just cut somebody a check. Why not?
I feel. I mean, when I was in college, I remember being a freshman in college, and there was one of the football players had a rep on the yard for pulling up on girls, going in their dorm room, and taking the booty. That's what this nigga did on a regular basis. And because we went to a college that was mostly white, he got away with a lot of that shit. I personally kept a switchblade under my pillow, and that nigga tried it with me, and you want to keep that dick, bro? Just you walking up out of here. Mm-hmm. But I've also worked on on a rape hotline, and it is heartbreaking to hear those stories. Oh, but there are a lot of people who are embarrassed, especially men. Men are very rarely going to tell people that they were raped. Mm-hmm. I have a cousin that was raped, and we just happened to be watching a show one day, and he's like 35, and he starts telling me about this experience that happened to him when he was 12, when his babysitter raped him. But he never told anyone because he was embarrassed. Mm-hmm. And women, I mean, nobody wants to admit that they were in a situation where they had no control and somebody completely debases you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm making me I'm thinking back on something.
And that it's hard. It's a hard situation. I feel like for some people you have our serial rapists that are out here doing this for the fuck of it, and then you have some people who make bad decisions and assumed that no stop was a no stop instead of a no stop.
Yeah.
And I think that gets a lot of there. And you're right, Johnny, there is a blurred line there. For me, I feel like anytime I hear no, and that's just because that's how I'm conditioned, I'm going to automatically pull the brake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I understand. It's so like it is a very blurred line, and I hate that line is so blurred because again, especially when I think that when alcohol is in the mix or your drug of choice is in the mix, and things like that, and you're under the influence, the person under the influence, and you hearing that no stop in a tone that sounds even sexier to you, it's just like I do think that and I also want to say that I in no way, shape, or form condone a person's no to be taken lightly at all. I just know that I have been in situations where I have sexy. It was considered sexy to me. My sexy no stop, and my no stop didn't mean no stop. Because if you stop, nigga, what you doing? What you doing?
Yes.
What's
Johnny, give me 1 second, okay?
Okay. I want to talk about rape culture, and basically rape culture.
Before we talk about rape culture, I want to save that for Patrice to come back on.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's talk about exposing rapists.
Okay.
Me being on campus, being part of HBCU, I've seen around different HBCUs around North Carolina where they're making exposed rapist pages. So they're exposing the rapists, what alleged rapists are on campus at that college or university. and it's usually about they expose them when they have 6 different women who have negative experiences with that one person. And it even got to the point where when one person's stories got allegations got so crazy that he got suspended for a whole semester. He wasn't able to be on campus or go to classes for a whole semester because he had 11 different allegations going against him, and 5 of them were being investigated by the campus, and then the rest will be investigated off campus. So I felt like that wasn't good enough, because if you have 11 allegations against you, I think you should be gone. But also, they had to be proven to be true, though. So my thing is, do you think it's healthy? It's basically part of cancel culture. Do you think it's healthy to have pages where we are stating that this person is a rapist and allowing people to go tag them on social media?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a slippery slope.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's kind of like the revenge porn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're always going to have those people who look at stuff like that, just like people call the cops on somebody mad at them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You're always going to have somebody who's going to try to take advantage of something. And that's where it gets sketchy. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, because of my experiences and working with some rape hotlines, I will always believe the victim until they give me a reason not to. Mm-hmm. And that's a very unpopular opinion, and I'm okay with that. But until you give me a reason, or when I ask you to ask a question and shit don't start adding up, then we got a problem. But until then, I'm always going to believe the victim. Every time. I don't think sexual assault is something you need to prove. Go get a rape kit. It's real easy. But then rape kits are also some of the most invasive shit you ever want to do.
What if my rapist makes me take a shower before I leave after he rapes me?
That's not going to change anything on the inside of your body.
Yeah.
The sperm is still going to be on the inside of your body if you take a shower. That doesn't matter.
His pubic
hair. That's not how that works.
All types of stuff travel during that whole,
Okay.
Damn follicles, hair follicles, all of that.
I love you too, DJ.
It's weird. It's just, I don't know. I'm not against exposing pages, because I do kind of feel like you should be on alert for, like, ooh, stay away from them. But then also in the second hand, I don't want nobody to be falsely accused and they're being attacked for something that they didn't do. You know, because a dude could play you, and you mad that he played you, and then you could be like, oh, he raped me. And then everybody go after him because he really didn't rape you. He just, y'all had sex and you thought it was...
Your volume went down, Bryce.
Yeah. Your finger...
Your volume went down.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I was saying was, you know, you had sex with him, you thought it was going to be more, and he was like, nah, that's all it's going to be. And now you mad, so now you telling people that he raped you or he sexually assaulted you because you mad.
Right, and that's when you get into that whole bitter shit. Like, it's a difficult kind of thing to maneuver, and I understand how difficult things like that would be, and that's why I don't think, like, social media pages like that, I think that if you have a page, if you have something where you have lists of names of people, they would I think that should be somewhat vetted before they can you can't just go in and toss somebody's name up there. You know what I mean? But that's also going to be difficult to do.
Right. Agreed. It's agreed.
Yeah, I did want to get into rape culture, but you was gone for a second, so I guess we can talk about it now.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're fine. I'm gonna give you the definition, and I'm gonna break it down because it's very rape culture is the sociological concept for a setting in which rape is pervasive and normalized due to the societal attitudes that we have about gender. So basically, rape culture is everybody's perception about rape based on how we view gender roles in society. Basically, how we view rape for each person is different. How we view rape for women is different. How we view rape for men is different. How we view rape for somebody that's attractive versus somebody who we think is not attractive is different because the woman who started the Me Too movement was a black woman, and people were saying mean things about her because they didn't find her attractive. They were like, "Who will rape her?" Because she don't look good anyway. But then that also opened a whole umbrella to where rape is not always necessarily about how you look. It could also be a power.
Real rape is always about power.
It's about power, so it's not always about how you look. And people gave her a really hard time when she was trying to defend her sexual assault because they were making fun of how she looked and her appearance.
Right.
So and that's fucking sad. That's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking. So what I really want to ask is, and be honest, are your opinions about rape different for how you would feel for a man versus how you would feel for a woman?
No.
For me, no. For me, no.
I'm glad. Because every time I'm seeing this repeatedly, every time a woman shares a story about her sexual assault or her rape on social media, you have that one guy that's like, well, men are raped too. And then you get into that conversation like, are you really talking about men being raped because you actually give a damn? Or are you talking about men being raped because you want to deflect from the situation because you're uncomfortable?
Exactly.
Because I'm pretty sure
it's an all lives matter moment.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure if your homeboy came to you and said that a girl raped him, you look at him like he was a bitch.
You're going to undermine the fact that it's a woman because you feel as though, it's a typical thing because you always hear about women getting raped and it's not really a big thing about men getting raped or being talked about. But at the same time, it's all the same.
At the same time, we don't even make it acceptable for
sexual assault is sexual assault.
Yeah, like even I involve my some trans girls. I know trans women that have been raped.
That are beaten and raped all the time. And people feel like sex workers can't get raped, and that's the issue.
Yes, please.
All day, every day. All day, every day.
Feel like
that's the problem.
The sex workers can't turn you away because they're sex workers. Like, nah, I'm not sleeping with you.
Lies. And deceit.
Okay.
Like I told you, when we do outreach, they be looking like gremlins. Because people who pull up on the workers, I be like, ew.
I be tempted to get in some of them cars.
Listen. I ain't gonna
We're not gonna talk about that AMG. We're not gonna talk about that.
No, but
Sean, you remember that one time we was walking down Sugar Creek?
Yeah.
And he was looking for a little piece. He was like, hey!
How y'all doing?
Oh, Sugar Creek, no shade.
We was like, hey! We was like, hey!
How you doing?
What'd you say, John?
I think for a long time, I think that I did have a less emotional feeling as it related to men being raped.
Understood.
And I think because of it was something that was untalked about, especially inside of our community.
Oh yeah, you can't even get people to talk about molestation in our community.
Right. And also it is very demasculating.
Yeah.
So I think that that's one of the things that I wouldn't able to connect for me when it comes down to a man being, raped. And so it took a long time for me to kind of grasp that and understand that and talk about that because, I think that it was confusing to me. What? Things like that, or that moment of I have the ultimate power. I'm a man. I have the power to, it's my piece, it's my penis, it's my dick, get off of it. So it just took me a long time to kind of picture that, imagine that, and see that happening. And of course, I know a lot better now, but I think that, for a long time, it was something that, I didn't believe it. Couldn't understand it. It didn't make sense to me. So yeah, and I.
But that's good though. I mean, learning is the point.
Yeah.
I also want to talk about adult women engaging in inappropriate acts with teenage boys, because when we have an adult male engaging in acts with young women,
are we going to stigmatize and just put that on women?
No,
we can reverse that.
No, what I'm saying is that when I see
you're talking about all these teachers sleeping with kids.
Yeah, when I see a 13-year-old female teacher sleeping with a 15-year-old male boy, you have all these men commenting talking about some dang. I wish
What
I had
about the
teachers
men
like that
professors sleeping
when
with
I
the
was in
girl, the
school.
girl students? You got men professors sleeping with the girls.
And I'm like,
yeah, but the more men are like, oh, I wish I had that teacher when I was in high school.
yeah, that's what I'm
That
getting
would have
at. They
made my
wish
high
that they
school
had.
cool. That's what
Yeah.
I'm looking for. Why she wasn't in my school 20 years ago. All of that.
Yeah, and I think that's wildly inappropriate. But when you call them out for it, they're like, "Oh, you don't get it because you gay." No, there's nothing cute about a 32-year-old doing anything with a 15-year-old. It don't matter what the gender is; it's inappropriate. But I feel
Right.
like people turn a blind eye when it's an adult woman engages in sexual acts with teenage boys.
Because I ain't the one to gossip, but I mean, it is some Jada picking in August. I've seen the stuff going on right now.
Okay, I'm not doing this with y'all. I'm not doing it.
Wait,
I'm not doing
wait.
it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Wait, hold
No.
on.
No.
What
I ain't the one
happened?
to gossip.
What happened?
No.
We
We'll get together later, Buddha. We'll talk
We're gonna
about
talk
this
about it
later.
later. But my thing is,
No.
do you think patriarchy plays a role into men thinking that it's okay for women to molest young boys?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Explain,
No,
Patrice.
So you have to realize that in a patriarchal society, women are second-class citizens. They are there for the pleasure and objectification of any man at any time for anything.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Because I remember when I was young and I was in the barbershop, dude was talking about how he lost his virginity at 15 to his next door neighbor. She was 31. And I was kind of in my head like, that ain't...
They got a whole song about it. Me and Mrs. Jones.
Right. Yes, they do. I love you, Patrice. That is so true.
Y'all are going to jail. No, wait.
They got a thing going on.
I'm calling
Okay?
the community review board on y'all. Y'all are going to get a citizen's arrest because we are boss.
Citizens arrest.
See, every time we start talking about something, I start thinking about stuff that's in the limelight. Like that kind of just puts me in the mindset of the whole like Boosie having his son at the
Oh
age
my God.
Yes.
with,
oh my God.
older
That
woman
was
have
so... Because he was going in on Zaya so much. You was going in on Zaya Wade about being transgender, but you're going to allow grown women to perform oral sex on your sons.
Prostitutes. Not just grown women. Prostitutes.
Is that considered rape?
Right.
Is that considered rape to the child?
Yes.
Yes.
It is.
That is considered.
That is statutory rape.
That's
that is molestation.
And he needs to be held accountable.
He needs to go to jail.
And he needs to go to fucking jail.
And he openly admitted to it. And where's the charges?
There ain't gonna be no charges.
Here's the thing, though. I also wanted to. I'm glad we brought that up because I think that when it first came about, we didn't have a topic to kind of put that into, so we never really talked about it. But one of the things that I thought was interesting is that, and I'm actually glad that we're living in a time frame now to where we're like putting light on shit because that's been happening for a long time. You know, things like that. It's right. And I think that if I wasn't so vocal, it would have my father has have had that same mindset in regards to trying to put me in a position where he wants to make me more masculine and put me into things like that, or or take me to the strip club, get me drunk, things like that, stuff like that. And I've seen it to my cousins. I've seen it to my friends, when I was my kid friends, things like that at the time, things like that. That is something that has been happening for forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And
but society is supposed to grow and get better as we move forward.
And it seems like it's just going
backwards. I think, and somebody's made a point about the whole Me Too movement and how it was going to backfire on women. And that shit has happened. Ever since the Me Too movement has started, the Republican Party has gone out of their way to make sure Planned Parenthood has been defunded. Abortion is no longer legal in several states, whether you're in danger of living or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's become a really open season politically against women and things that are important to women. And to me, that is the scarier thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to read something, y'all. Somebody inboxed me and asked me a question, and I want to read it. They said, what about when you say no to trade and he have his way, but you're scared because he is trade, which is AKA DL.
That's not what trade is.
Well, not
It's really not.
I mean, we can break that down.
I hate that.
Especially
I hate that.
Especially if he gang related. Like, what do you do then?
But it's the same thing as anybody being raped. Call the motherfucking cops.
But he gang related.
But I understand the fear of retaliation. That's how anybody feels in that situation. But yes, that is still rape. Anything that starts with he had their way with me, it's rape.
Now, this is how you do it. You be like, hey, DeMarcus, can I see your gun? Oh my God. Yeah, don't play with me.
Right.
Also too, back in the day, when I was hot and heavy and young and out here in these streets, and I had
go ahead.
Because back in the, it's been like a couple of years. Whenever I had a Jack account and I had the A for A's and the Black GC and things like that. One of the things that I used to always do is try to screenshot the messages, not to be messy, especially when I was getting up with trade, not to be messy, not to be, showing it to people, but to protect myself in regards to like, I'm about to go here and see
they can pull your shit. Yeah.
Pull my shit. Or I will also make sure that I send the picture and my location to my best friend every time that I was going to a location that I didn't know. Like, because I was always nervous about stuff like that.
I do that with my best friend. Every time I'm about to go to a dick appointment, I like, look, this is where I'm going, bitch. If I don't call you by 10 o'clock in the morning, alert. And we do the same for each other. That's what we do.
Thank you.
That's what we do.
And
you share that location.
No shame.
That's it.
And here's the thing, though. The funny story, because this is maybe I want to say about 5. I've been with Greg for about 4 years. So about 5-6 years ago, and probably a little bit longer than that. But one thing, Patrice, that I wasn't never scared of being raped. I was more so scared of being robbed. I was more so scared of being robbed or or something like that, or it wasn't the rape thing that scared me, or assaulted. It wasn't the rape thing that scared me. Which is an interesting that something that I just thought about just now as we were talking. Like that wasn't my fear. But wow, yeah.
That same similar situation happened to me though.
Yeah, I never thought to do stuff like that. I kind of, yeah. I sometimes I have found myself in places and have been like, this was a bad decision.
Yo,
literally,
I need an adult.
And it was so messy. I played it. I was like, yo, I left the condoms in the car, and I ran to my car and I drove off. I was scared.
Baby, you gotta get that one good friend that you can call. You can text them. You be like emergency, and they know what emergency mean. They call your phone and like,
yes,
I need you. Can you? I'm like, look, my sister just called me. I gotta go.
Yeah,
oh, that's cool. I just, I guess because I grew up in the era without cell phones, so that's just not the thing that comes to my mind. So I would have never thought to do that. But now listening to y'all say it, I'm like, wow, that makes so much more sense.
Yeah. iPhone shit, no location, no shade.
And I felt
they make apps for that now.
And I didn't know about that.
And all the trades I met, they were nice.
They make apps. Yeah, they make apps for it.
Okay, Garrett. I didn't know.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, I can remember being in downtown hot.
Don't tell me yourself.
Oh, that's shade.
Shawn, you was about to say something earlier about something that you were saying something similar happening to you.
Yeah, also like with the story, that person had just inboxed me saying that I had got up in a situation with a guy that he was DL, and he was gang related too, and I was more so nervous about the way that he would act towards me once something did transpire between us, if it did, and it was almost like when my situation went left, he actually threatened me that if I said anything or told anybody that I was gonna get shot. Like that's really what he said these exact words to me. Like these
That's
eyes
what I
mouth. He
like.
was serious. And I just looked at
That's
him and
what
I
I
was
like.
like, well, I mean, it's nobody's business but my business and what me and you.
Yeah.
But I'm not about to, and then
Yeah.
I already got to understand you're not my man. We just
there are
doing
people who
what-
have been beat up or murdered after the sexual act takes place. Like
yeah,
they had
like,
sex and it was good, and then he started freaking out and he beat you up or he kill you, and it's just
exactly. Like no,
That's just like that case that just happened a couple of weeks ago. It's probably been about a good 2 months ago now.
About 2 months ago when the girl was killed in the ambulance.
That one, but I was talking about that
they
one.
had the boy in the house and they sucked him off for like 3 hours and he nutted like 4 times and then he went back and killed him.
Okay, so I mean, so if for you guys that don't know the story, allegedly what took place is that there were 3 friends. 2 were there were 3 at a gas station. There was 1 trans female and the other 2 were same gender loving males. They were going to a sex party. And they had found that what they considered the trade at the gas station. And allegedly, the guy, well, this is on camera. The guy kind of followed them to the party. They didn't capture the audio of what was said back and forth between the 2. He got back to the party. Allegedly, he initiated or he participated in sexual acts with them. Those 3 only. He left. He came back and killed the 3 people that he had sex with. And it went to trial, and he actually got convicted, and he actually went to prison for it and things like that. But this, it's probably been about 2 months, and it was around the same time that the other trans female had got killed right at the hotel. So it was right around that same time frame of actually when it happened as well. But yeah, he participated in a sex act and things like that, and he admitted that he did as well. And went back and shot him and killed him, and they had a sex party. So people, it was just, I can only imagine the mood changing at a sex party like that.
Yeah,
I ain't never going to another sex party. It's over.
Right. It's traumatizing.
Right. Garrett calls it the afterglow guilt. That's funny. I like that title.
I do too, actually. And I think his reasons because he didn't want anybody to know.
Yeah, he didn't want to get exposed.
Yeah.
He panicked and he was probably under the influence of several different things.
Right.
Unfortunately.
But the thing is that he contemplated before going to the party because they invited him to the party, told him what the address was. He went back to his house, thought on it for like 20 minutes, and then walked over to the house.
Yeah, like I really just did this with this, or with these type of people, or whatever the case may be, because he probably wasn't used to that. And then probably people are really mental health people is serious. People do not constantly always think right when it comes to situations like that. He probably really went left really quick in his head, like, oh, now I'm gay. Like, oh, now I'm this. He got so many different thoughts going through his head. He was like, nah, like, I'm about to go take care of this. I ain't living with this for the rest of my life. Like, nah. You know what I mean? So,
well, I'm sure if he went to a sex party, that was not his first time at the rodeo.
And I agree with Patrice. I don't think that
you're not getting ready to tell me you a straight dude on the DL and you gonna walk into a sex party.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought that was
there's no confusion about what goes on at a sex party. Right. No confusion. They hand you a towel and some lube. There's no confusion of what's going on in there.
You knew the vibes.
Right.
And one of the people that's like the sex party testified in court talking about something. He asked him that he wanted to join. He said no. He said, I'm just like you. If you ain't sucking, I ain't sucking. So
yeah, I actually remember that. I remember that testimony.
Because
it was all over the internet.
Yeah, he was like, if you ain't sucking, I ain't sucking. So
like ain't nothing going down, baby.
Thank you, Mariah. I love you too. But yeah, that was a sad thing. And
it was.
Even in that moment, I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna keep it all in 100 with you guys in regards to some of the things that I thought about and contemplated in my head as it related to that story. I immediately start thinking about the transgender female, right? And let me tell you why, and things like that. And again, this is not no reflection of how I think about transgender females or things like that. But for whatever reason at that time frame, this is just where my mind went, and I had to check myself. But so what I thought about is, you know, a trans female presenting themselves to the trade or men as real females, or as females that have had the surgery, or females that are cisgender females.
Okay.
And taking them to a spot, thinking they about to engage in sex, and he's engaging in sex with a cisgender female, and surprise, something else is taking place.
Was this a straight sex party?
No, it wasn't a straight sex party.
Because if I was straight and a girl put me up with two other gay,
no, he's talking about something else.
Okay.
No, I'm actually no. I'm talking about the same incident. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm talking about the incident. I'm saying when my mind went, how I had to check myself.
Right.
In regard to that. But yeah, so that was that's honestly the first thing I thought about. Well, how did she present herself to him? Did he think that he was going back with with a cisgender female? So that was the first thing I thought about, and immediately had to check myself in regards to it. It don't make it any excuse. So what?
It doesn't.
She lost her life. And the other two males lost their life and things like that. So yeah, that was a moment where I had to really, really check myself in regards to what I was thinking, how I was thinking, and had to reevaluate how I viewed people. Like it was like, wait a minute. So
also too, it was claimed that they were mocking his sexuality after the fact, because me and Patrice have this conversation all the time about what you do in the bedroom doesn't necessarily define your sexuality. But after the fact, after they did what they did, they was like, "Oh, you gay," like
Yeah, that's
because that's the culture in this country.
Yeah, so that's another thing.
But that don't make it true.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it true.
we're gonna go ahead and actually get this all wrapped up. I want to thank you guys. Today was we had a lot of interaction with comments. So
we did. It was a great conversation. Thank you so much for talking with us and listening to us, and even sharing some of your stories. It really means a lot, and I thank you.
I do. It does.
I had a blast.
Thankfully.
So, those who are not on prep at the moment, or have taken prep in the past,
come on in the room. Come on in.
Be a part of that story, so that we can kind of share and create interventions, that's going to engage same gender loving men, Black. Shout out to crew.
De La Crew.
Come on, crew.
Shout out to Uplift. You can check both of their them out on Facebook as well. So check them out, search them and check them out as well. On
the Facebook.
And I also want to remind everybody that getting tested is sexy.
Johnny said
it.
Getting tested is necessary.
It's necessary.
It's sexy.
Oh, Johnny, let everybody know about the contest again. For some people that just pulled in.
So people that just pulled in, we are doing a contest. And the contest is for a special Pride prize. We're not going to tell you what it is yet.
But you got to do it right now.
But you have to comment, like, share, and hit up one of our inboxes. It doesn't matter who. We want to discuss it and say done.
Say done. Four little steps.
Four little steps.
DON.
After you do that, on next week's conversation episode, we're going to announce the winner. And we're going to let you know how you're going to be able to get your prize. Okay. So
please be in
Charlotte. Looking out for that. Oh, please be in Charlotte. Oh,
please be in the Mecklenburg County.
But if not,
you don't have to. We mail. We ship shit everywhere.
We mail. You don't have to. No, we ain't gonna put that out there. We're not gonna put that energy out there. I don't care where you is. Do those steps, and we'll get you your prize. I promise you. Okay. Thank you for joining. You guys have a nice one.
Talk to you guys later. Bye.
See you next week.
Keeping it 100.